Hi, everyone. I was just thinking right now about how last year was the first time we had recorded a holiday message to go into an email about the pandemic, about how to do a Zoom Seder or how to have a safe Pesach in the middle of a pandemic. And I'll be honest, as we were recording that message last year, I could not have envisioned or even thought that it was possible that we would be doing this a second time for Passover. And yet here we are. Last week we sent you a bunch of resources about how to help out with a Zoom Seder. And on this email you'll find a bunch of helpful resources, whether it's music or activities or different Seder ideas. And I want to ask you to look at all of those, and I hope you find them to be useful. There's something else I'm going to ask you. When you talk about the plagues of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, and you talk about at your Seders what it means to be free, I want you to take a moment to consider the plague of this current pandemic and how that relates to oppression. This pandemic is not a directed plague. It just is going, and it's doing, and it's a virus doing what a virus is going to do. But what we're noticing in society is that there are even larger gaps that are being created in our culture, that there's an increase of hate and xenophobia among certain groups, that the wealth gap is increasing, that there are those of us who are doing all right during this pandemic and aren't really feeling the hardships and are thriving. And there are also others who are, well, they were barely holding on to begin with, and now it's become very hard. This pandemic has unveiled for us a lot of the inequalities that exist in our society. And I'm hoping that at your Seder tables, you'll talk about some of that. Because the purpose of our Seder is not only to tell the story about us, but to also talk about our purpose in this world as being Jews. And that goes back to the line of let the oppressed go free, to free the fetters of wickedness, to let justice well up as waters. These are texts that are not necessarily found in our Seder, but are strewn throughout our scripture and all relate to this moment in our history of going from a confined place such as Mitzrayim to the openness of Israel. But it shouldn't stay there. We should be remembered that part of our purpose is to be a light to the world, to add light where there is darkness, and to always strive for freedom for all. So please, during your Seders this year, really delve into what it means, this pandemic, for our society, but also understand that it's unveiled inequalities that have existed for a while. And please, talk about what you can do to help everyone enjoy the freedom that some of us enjoy. Chag, Sameach, Modim L'Simcha. I look forward to seeing you all online soon, and hopefully, God willing, very hopefully, in person. Stay safe, stay healthy. Chag Sameach.